Hi everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of New Jersey, Season 8, Episode 6, Growing Up Jersey. Okay, this episode was very kid-centric. The theme of this episode was definitely parents and children, and for that reason, it was kind of boring. This one's going to be a short recap because I don't have too much to talk about. Teresa and the kids and her dad are in Puerto Rico. The kids are somewhat obnoxious. She's trying to do a photo shoot with them. Each and every one of them is like fed up with her. And I can't figure out if they're being bratty. I mean, she could legitimately be driving them crazy, so I really don't want to come down on the kids. Because with Teresa, I think anything's possible. We get to see Siggy at the doctor's office. She brought Dolores along with her to get her pellets in her ass for hormone therapy. I'm thinking maybe she should have brought Shannon. Shannon could probably use a pellet or two. Margaret decides to call Dolores and ask her if she will meet her for dinner. They do meet, and Dolores is pretty much not hearing anything Margaret has to say because she is Team Siggy, ride or die to the end. She's telling Margaret that her soggy flicker joke was ill-timed and inappropriate, and you do not tell Joan Rivers that she has a timing issue with her jokes. I'm thinking, oh boy, this is not gonna go well. But what ends up happening with those two is they both kind of go deep. Margaret tells her that she did not say anything negative about her living with her ex-husband Frank because she herself has an unconventional relationship. And Dolores tells her and us at home, because I think this is the first time I've heard this story, that when the kids were very young, her daughter was 3, little Frankie was an infant, that's when Frank left. And she wanted this cohesive family unit so bad that Frank would come over and kiss them all on the head at dinner time and then go off to be with his girlfriend. And that their friend groups, like their couples, would go out with, I think I got this right, would go out with Frank and his girlfriend and they would ask Dolores to babysit. That immediately got Margaret to put her guard down, and then Margaret shares with Dolores that her ex-husband, who she is still very friendly with, had children from his previous relationship that he had custody of. And so Margaret was only 24 and these kids were teenagers. I think one of them was even 16. And she got very, very close to those kids, loved them like her own, and became very close to them. Then when they grew up and left the home, her marriage fell apart. That's when she met her current husband, Joe. And now a couple of those kids do not even speak to her. And it's been 6 years and she kind of started to break down a little bit. It was pretty emotional and it brought those two together. There's a scene with Melissa and her daughter Antonia shopping. Oh my gosh, Antonia looks so much like Melissa now. It's crazy. She's talking about how strict Joe is and that that's the reason why she won't talk to them. And so Melissa has Joe take Antonia out. They can just have a fun daddy-daughter date and talk. And so they go to a trampoline park and they're jumping around and having fun. And then they stop to talk, have the scene where they're going to talk. And I'm anticipating what it's like with Teresa's daughters when you have that moment where it's supposed to be, okay, let's talk seriously. In Puerto Rico, Teresa sits down with Melania and wants to talk about Nona passing away and all that. And do you miss her? Well, of course I do. And do you miss Daddy in prison? Of course I do. She wants no part of it. That's pretty typical and normal, I would think. So I'm expecting the same thing from Antonia, could we not talk about boys and stuff on camera? This is so embarrassing. But instead, she's pretty sweet about it. Joe tells her that he's not going to be so strict anymore and that he's going to trust her more. But in exchange, she's got to tell them if she likes a boy and stuff like that. And she's pretty embarrassed about everything. But then in the end, she tells him she loves him to the moon and back. And it's cliche, but it's really kind of a very cute and very sweet moment. Then we cut to a double date with Siggy and Michael Campanella and Dolores and her ex-husband Frank. I mean, what? Apparently, David, her actual boyfriend, does not want to film because all of her scenes are with Frank. She brings him to the tasting. She brings him everywhere. He lives with her. They go on this dinner date that definitely looks like two couples. Anyway, so apparently Siggy's pellets are working because she feels very sexual. Okay, ew. She's so Siggy though. And Dolores tells the group about her dinner with Margaret. So she tells them how the whole thing went and that Margaret really went deep and was talking about her stepkids and how sad she was about that, and she started crying. And Dolores said, I feel like we should all kind of just try and get along, put this past us. And Siggy's like, no, not gonna happen. But somehow she convinces Siggy that she needs to give Margaret another chance. And Siggy's like, you know, she's right. Just hearing that Margaret actually has a heart when she talks about her relationship with her stepchildren, and I guess she really does have a heart. So I'm gonna go with my good friend Dolores' suggestion and give her another chance. Okay, Siggy, you do that. So all four of them toast to giving Margaret a second chance. This episode ends back in Puerto Rico where Teresa is now having a talk with her dad, and it's sad. He's missing his wife so much. Teresa kind of admits that she's angry with Joe. She did actually say that I lost 11 and a half months with mommy, and her dad said, yeah, well, you have me now. And she said, yeah, maybe you can help me discipline the girls. What? Teresa, you're admitting that maybe you could discipline them a little bit more? Gee, maybe because Melissa said it and then your brother confirmed that Melissa was right, and then your daughter said it, and then your dad said it. So now maybe it's kind of sinking in that she's got to be a little bit stricter with them. Anyway, that's where this episode ends. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining me, and please join me right back here every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central Time for the next recap of The Real Housewives of New Jersey. Thank you so much. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Please give me a thumbs up if you liked it, and comment down below. I love to hear from you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.